Alright, so now let's put together some pivot tables based on this data that we've got here. So let's just grab our data to make our table. So we're all going to highlight that. We'll go Insert Pivot Table. That's our data. We're going to drop it in an existing location. And we're just going to drop it right here next to everything. And then we'll hit OK. So we have our blank pivot table. Now we'll do just what we did before. We'll drop in profit in the rows and in the sum of values. And you can see, wow, there are a lot of different values of the profit. In fact, if we take this from sum, let's go to just count, we can see that we get a lot of ones, some tens and other stuff in there, but just a lot of random numbers. It's not really going to do a good job for us of trying to figure out what's going on. What I want to be able to do, though, is I want to be able to break it up and look at what's going to be profitable, what percent of the chance am I going to be profitable, what is the percent chance that I will not be. So what I need to do is I actually need to break things up a little bit on this. So what I want to do is I want to highlight this row and I want to go and group some stuff together. So if you look up here in pivot table, we've got design so we can have the different looks, but we also have analyze, and there's a lot of stuff that we can do in the analyzation, one of which is we can go to group selection. And so we can start making some groups. Now, as I look at it, in most of these, I saw that the maximum profit was, maxed out at about 600 or 800 negative. Minimum profit is 600 to 800 negative, maximum's up at 500. So let's just choose a nice round number and we'll say negative 800. So we're going to say negative 800. We're going to run that to 800. So we're going to group it from negative 800 to 800, and we are going to go by 800. So what that's going to do is it's going to break it up into groups. Now, if I did this, let's do this by 100 instead of 800, and you'll see that it groups the stuff together in range bands. And we can go with this and just take a look at it. In fact, we'll leave it like this for now. Let's go over to count of profit. Field settings, let's change this to a calculation, percentage of the grand total, and once again, we'll call it frequency. And so we can take a look at things and go, hey, look, there's a 0.1% chance it will be between negative 500 and negative 400, or there's a 51% chance that we're going to be somewhere between 500 and 600. But I want to actually take this a little bit further, because instead of looking at it in the different little bands, I just want to look at, am I going to make money or not? So if I go to group selection, and instead of taking it going by 100s, I'm going to go by 800. And so what that's going to do is it'll be negative 800, 0, and then 800. So it'll only give us 3 quantities, and there we go. So now I can look at things and go, okay, well, if I'm doing 200 calendars, I have a 93.4% chance of making a profit. I have a 6.60 chance of losing money. So let's clean this up a little bit, though. So let's call this, row labels, we'll name this as profit. And then I'll come down here. Instead of saying negative 800, 0, we'll just say profit less than $0. So that'll be our loss. And then we'll come here and go profit greater than $0. So that's telling me that I have a gain. Okay, and so we can do the same thing that we did before. We can sit here and go Q, my order's 200. We'll merge and center that. We'll make that bold. Copy. And then we'll paste the numbers and paste the formatting. So let's do that for our other two. Didn't mean to do that. I just want to highlight this, Control C to copy, and paste, and paste. And so we'll do this for 175, and then we'll also do this for 150. So I'll come over here, I'll change my order quantity to 175. That changes that. Now remember, as I forgot earlier, we're going to go into our data, refresh all, and there we go. So now our data refreshed. Control C, come over here, paste as values, and then paste as formatting. And then we'll just quickly do it one more time for 150. Refresh our values in our data table. Control C, not Control V because we want to paste values, and then paste formatting. Okay, so now we've looking at the normal distribution, we can look at it and we can see this is just what the chance it will make a profit is. So the profit at 200, we have a 93.6% chance of making a profit. We drop down to 175, we've got a slightly better 96.4. Drop it down to 150, we have a 98.9. Now this 150 though is a little bit different than the other ones because if we use the uniform model, we didn't actually calculate that out, but if I put in 150 here for my uniform model, you'll see that we're not going to lose money doing 150 in the uniform model. Or if we go back to the discrete, our minimum profit is 0. That's because all of those assume the demand is going to be at least 100. This one here is just going for our normal distribution, so they know, this one knows that, well, demand could be less than 100. There's a percentage chance that's going to happen. It's not as good, it's not as great a percentage chance as the other ones, but there is a percentage chance that it's going to happen. So once again, another way to look at it, and this all comes down to, once again, risk. Now, I know we did not grab the maximum and minimum that we can look at. As I said, that floats a little bit more with the normal distribution since it does pick up every single thing that we've got. Because, you know, they could sit there and go, well, there's a chance that you're going to sell 400 calendars. The demand will be 400. It's not very likely to happen, so it's a little bit better to be able to look at just, okay, percentage. Am I going to profit? Am I not? And that's just with the nature of the normal distribution, because it is continuous from 0 to infinity. It's just that as you get close to 0 and closer to infinity, the chance of that happening is almost nil. But anyway, so this is the way that we can use different kinds of simulations to calculate out what we should be ordering in this case. And so, showed you general discrete, also showed you how to use the pivot tables. With that, we looked at a uniform distribution, and this was our normal distribution. The normal distribution is the most popular and powerful of those probability distributions. You will see them get used all the time. And with that, the problem is finally done. I believe this is the longest problem that we've dealt with up until now. It might be the longest problem that I teach in this class. So you've made it. Good job. Go get yourself a drink. Celebrate the fact that you're finished with this. And then if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.